White algae in an aquarium, causes and how to get rid. Most aquarists have to cope with white algae in an aquarium at a certain point. The rough threads look ugly. Additionally, they are extremely difficult to get rid of with even the best filter. White algae does not pose a serious threat. If your white algae outbreak is severe enough, you might need to take additional measures. The white fuzzy material might make an aquarium appear to be covered in cobwebs. Therefore, how do we get rid of an aquarium of white algae? To know about all this, you need to watch the whole video. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and activate the ring to be the first to see the next more exciting videos like this. Algae are a plant type that typically develops in water. More than 50% of the oxygen in the atmosphere is produced by them. Algae primarily come in two colors, brown and green. The most prevalent variety of algae in the environment and aquariums is green algae, but brown algae can also flourish there under the correct conditions. They are familiar to you, but did you understand that there are also white algae? Such photosynthetic eukaryotic organisms, also called white hair algae, are the basis of the marine food chain. Both saltwater and freshwater often contain these unicellular creatures. If you notice this form of algae inside your fish aquarium, don't be alarmed. It also flourishes in freshwater aquariums. Furthermore, they are typical aquarium visitors. White algae are a typical sight in aquariums and can be found in a wide range of aquatic habitats. How can you identify them? They leave behind fuzzy or stringy patches on grass, plants, aquarium decorations, and aquarium accessories. A specific white algae has a very slick film. White algae are hardly ever found in saltwater aquariums. Not because it is primarily caused by freshwater organisms. The reason is primarily that freshwater aquariums tend to process more decoration choices organic-based. The majority of saltwater aquariums employ corals and live rock. These don't provide a lot of food for the growth of white algae. Causes of white algae within fish aquariums. Every beginning fish keeper's worst nightmare is white algae. White algae feed on residues and decomposing organic materials as a colony of fungi and bacteria. When an aquarist introduces a fresh piece of driftwood to the system, white algae outbreaks often occur for the first time. Driftwood and white algae. When driftwood isn't wet for an extended period, soft patches form that microorganisms love to eat. The harder wood will remain below the newly added driftwood in an aquarium for years. However, the more delicate outer layer will begin to deteriorate. Eating organic material before rot-causing microbes can, the helpful bacteria maintain the aquarium clean. On the most delicious areas of softwood, the bacteria and water mold or molds continue to grow, forming dense colonies. Such colonies yield white algae that can be seen. Occasionally, the water mold will remain compact and short. However, other colonies will grow stringy and long. It is based on the water mold, fungi, and bacteria species that start feeding. Aquarium with dead plants. An excess of dead plant stuff lying everywhere might also encourage the growth of white algae. The nutritional content of withering plant leaves is comparable to that of driftwood. They won't immediately develop white algae spots, but if you don't cut it, stringy water mold or molds will begin to form. White algae in dead fish. Have any of your fish ever died throughout the night, only to wake up the next morning to discover them enveloped in a cottony growth of white mold? White algae and this microbial slime are the same thing. Since dead fish are a more abundant source of food compared to driftwood or dead plants, the extra growth of water mold on them occurred so much more quickly. Poor feeding methods. It's a clue that your water is contaminated with white mold spores if you notice white cotton growth on leftover pellets and flakes. The more bacteria are present in your aquarium water, the faster you notice white fuzzy stuff formation. The issue is that the right conditions for the growth of germs include high nutrient levels, water, and temperature. Even a fish aquarium filter won't be able to effectively remove minute fungal and bacterial spores. White algae are more common in goldfish bowls and unfiltered beta. That's not because spores would be eliminated by the filter. Instead, there is insufficient surface area to support a normal biological cycle mechanism. Additionally, any food that is left over after overfeeding fish rots, supplying a ready supply of food for the growth of white fuzzy things. In unclean aquarium water, the white fuzz will also develop. The priority should be adjusting how you serve your fish species. Try your best to just feed your fish as much as they can consume in one meal. even if that means slightly underfeeding. Fish don't require so much food to survive. A fish's gut roughly resembles the eye's size. This is less true the fish is larger. However, the rule works well for smaller fish, such as tetras, betas, and guppies. What you can do to stop white algae from forming in your aquarium? Perhaps you've previously had to cope with a significant white algae infestation. So how can we stop white algae from ever growing again in fish aquariums? Circulate the water in the aquarium more often. The production of white fuzz long threads is greatly influenced by water movement. Any aquarium is capable of developing a short, fuzzy growth pattern, even those with a lot of circulation. The threads, though, are very delicate. You may notice the lengthy, cobweb-like formation of white fuzz algae in aquariums with no or minimal water circulation. All that is needed in this situation is a basic water pump. Additionally, the pump will improve heat and oxygen circulation throughout your aquarium. However, it should be kept in mind that the primary source of white algae, high quantities of organic matter, needs to be treated. Integrate a UV sterilizer. In the saltwater interest, UV sterilizers are more prevalent when stony corals require immaculate conditions. In addition, outdoor ponds can be used to manage green water algae. The growth of white algae can be effectively controlled with an aquarium UV sterilizer. We will get rid of any spores that are floating, but not any type of white algae that have become established and prevalent. Remember that too many nutrients are still a concern in this situation. These will keep causing other aquarium bacteria to produce more ammonia, which will increase. That still needs to be addressed by improved filtration, food modifications, water changes, and other measures. Methods of chemical control. Using chemical control procedures to eradicate your white fuzz is another option. Whether your white algae development is caused by a bacterial or fungal infection will determine the exact treatment you need. Without a microscope, it is unfortunately nearly impossible to figure this out. Stringier growths are more common in bacteria. In contrast, fungi produce thick, cotton-like mats that are not as high. Sometimes you can also obtain a combination of the two. Malachite green is a fungus treatment. The aquarium industry uses it most frequently to treat body fungus and fungus on fish eggs. Make sure to research to see if your organisms are susceptible before treating a whole aquarium. Typically, copper-based medications are the most problematic, but occasionally even safe medications might make a fish sensitive, particularly fish without scales like spiny eels or coolie loaches. Quick recap. The presence of white algae on decorations and aquarium plants indicates a problem. Let's get into a quick recap of the necessary steps to get rid of white algae growth in your aquarium. White algae are better described as water mold, so reducing feeding and increasing water changes help control it. Monitor the aquarium's increased nutrition levels, pH levels, and exposure to light. Manually get rid of it by maintaining the tank clean or adding algae eaters. Apply chemical intervention if you prefer not to wait for it to get cleaned up for some weeks. Add friendly plants to prevent white algae growth by preventing sunlight entry. The white algae growth can be effectively controlled with the integration of a UV sterilizer. Hope this video will be helpful for your aquarium stability and the strategies mentioned to cope with it. Please leave a comment below with your opinions on this. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and activate the bell button if you enjoyed this video to get notifications when new ones are added. All for today. Thank you.